From the 1600s to the 1800s, many people invaded Western Europe, like the Vikings, the Mongols, and the Magyars. Later on, a system of social classes called feudalism emerged. If you want to be part of the Middle Ages, you have to choose from three: the Vikings, Magyars, Muslims, or you could also be part of the feudal system. If you choose to be part of the Vikings or Norsemen, you would have to be up for hard work and difficult tasks. Also, you would have to be able to travel in boats without getting seasick, since that's how they worked. The Vikings were from Scandinavia. They did have a system like the feudalism. However, they needed men to sail and conquer other cities because of their homeland was not self-sufficient, meaning that they could not survive with limited goods from cold woodlands from Scandinavia.
If you chose to be a Magyar, you would have to be part of a group of nomadic people and attack Europe from the east. They didn't have a structured social system. Because they were nomads, there were no need to develop self-sufficient culture because they were constantly moving to find more goods. In the late 1800s, they went across the plains of the Danube River and invaded Western Europe. They attacked small villages and monasteries. They didn't settle and conquer land. Instead, they took captives to sell them as slaves. If you're the kind of ambitious person, you would like to be a Muslim. They were followers of Islam and developed an empire that was based in 4 social classes. They did not develop feudalism because they had much better structured societies than the isolated pieces of land in Europe. They attacked from the south to expand their empire. In the 1600s and 700s, their plan was to conquer and settle in Europe. They failed. They were expert seafarers.
The French king, Charles the Simple, gave land to the Viking leader Rollo. After that, Rollo swore a pledge of loyalty to the king. Rulers and warriors like Charles and Rollo started to make similar agreements all over Europe, and this was called feudalism. If you choose the feudal system, you would have to follow strict laws. The feudal system was based on rights and obligations. In exchange of military protection and other services, a lord or landowner granted land called a fief. The person receiving a fief was called a vassal. The structure of feudal society was much like a pyramid. At the peak reigned the king. Next came the most powerful vassals, or wealthy landowners such as nobles and bishops. Serving beneath these vassals were knights. Knights were mounted horsemen who pledged to defend their lord's lands in exchange for fiefs. At the base of the pyramid were landless peasants or serfs who toiled in the fields. Manors. The manors were the lord's states. The peasants had to work, give grain portions, and pay taxes in order to receive farmland, protection, and housing from their lords. Don't get fooled by the idea of being king or queen. If you choose to be part of the feudal system, you would more likely be a peasant. Peasants hardly left their lord's manor. They had to pay taxes to the church and to the lord. Marriages only took place with lord's consent, and tax had to be paid. Houses were small. Food consisted in the crops they grew and animals they raised for meat production. Children worked as soon as they could, and most didn't reach adulthood.